What's going on? NFL Daily presented by Manscaped. We're going to break down some players that your favorite team shouldn't go out and trade for. I'm Mitchell Renz. That's Harrison Graham. And if you guys are looking for the best male grooming products on the market, go to Manscaped, manscaped.com/chat.
Yeah, Mitch, we want to do something a little bit different today. We always talk about, oh, these are players you should trade for. How about players you shouldn't trade for?
Yeah.
And let's start with John Ross because he's the hot name right now because he requested a trade. It hasn't worked out in Cincinnati. Oh, I want to go play somewhere else. Should a team trade for him, though? Like,
No.
Is he worth it? Sure, he's somewhat cheap, but he's on the last year of his rookie deal. What is he really offering you in 2020? You could just go sign him in the offseason if you want to bring him in for the future. But I'm not trading for John Ross. The guy always stays hurt. I'm sticking clear away from him if I'm an NFL team.
Obviously the speed's there,
Yep.
but in the NFL, especially in today's NFL, you need to be able to do a lot of other different things, right? And I mean, if this was just a one-year sample size, I understand he had a fun year in 2018 where a third of his catches went for touchdowns.
Very fluky, though.
But it was very, very fluky. And now you got a player who, again, he wants out. I get that he wants a fresh start. And if I was John Ross, and if I was his agent, I said, yes, go out. You need to get paid again. But if I was a GM of a team, I'm not going out and giving up anything for Ross.
I mean, conditional 6th or 7th, fine, but I'm not trading anything notable for him. And even then, I'd almost rather keep my draft asset and, again, sign him in free agency. Like, when he ran that 40, which it probably wasn't a 4.22, but we know he can fly.
He can
it's
run.
exciting. Oh, this guy, he's going to be a superstar. Hasn't happened. Yeah, the injuries have been one thing, but even when he plays, Mitch, he's inconsistent. He drops passes, not a good route runner. Couldn't get on the same page as Andy Dalton, hadn't gotten on the same page with Joe Burrow. It just hasn't worked out. This is not a player I want to trade for if I'm an NFL organization.
All right, y'all, get your votes in here. Would you want your team to trade for John Ross? Type Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. Harrison and I think I'm going to type my N for no. I guess I won't speak for you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I came up with this list. All these guys I'm avoiding before the trade deadline. I am typing my N for no.
If you're looking for the perfect package, the holidays, they're coming up. It's going to sneak up on you. 20% off and free shipping, but you got to go to manscaped.com/chat. What comes in the perfect package? The Lawnmower 3.0. If you put deodorant underneath your arms, you should also put it on your balls. That's what the ball toter and the ball deodorant is for, plus the most comfortable boxers on the market.
I always type my Y for Manscaped because, look, the men's grooming tools there, they're the best in the business. I could never find a proper razor for the what's below.
Family jewels.
But then I found Manscaped, and they hooked me up. Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off, free shipping, no tug, no pull. You're not going to have any of that razor burn with the Lawnmower 3.0. Get this perfect package. A lot of cool stuff comes in there, like Mitch just mentioned, for a great price, 20% off, and free shipping. You're not going to find a better men's grooming kit out there than you will at Manscaped. One more time, manscaped.com/chat.
A.J. Green, players to not trade for. So we're kicking off the show with two straight Bengals. Tell me why A.J. Green made
Not
your
only
list.
two straight Bengals, two Bengals wide receivers. And, look, I think he's kind of toast at this point. I'm not saying he's got nothing in the tank, but he doesn't have $18 million in the tank. That's for sure. And that's what he's playing under on the franchise tag this year. Too much to trade for. I know it's only for this season, but that is a lot of money. There's cap uncertainty next year, Mitch. Like, do you want to eat up this money for 2020? I don't really want to. He hasn't been the same guy since the injury.
He also just doesn't look interested. Now,
No.
I'm curious if it's, hey, I'm on the Bengals, I'm not interested. Maybe if you went to a winning team, you'd see a different
Perhaps.
A.J. Green. However, I mean, this
looks
was a player.
slow.
This was a player that I was hoping was going to turn kind of into that Larry Fitzgerald. Where is Larry Fitzgerald worth 11, 12 million at this point? No, but he's so important to that franchise that you keep him. With the effort that A.J. Green has showed this year, I was always keep A.J. Green. I disagree now. I would not want A.J. Green on my football team.
And look, he was kind of a fringe Hall of Fame, trajectory before the injuries, and he's always been a high character guy. And I'm not sitting here attacking his character,
No,
but
he's a great.
look, he
great
flat
dude.
out admitted he quit on a play the other day and should have tried harder. But more than that, forget how hard he's playing. He's lost a step.
Yep.
The athleticism isn't what it once was. He's over 30. Like, he's had a nice career, but he's not an $18 million receiver. Let his contract run out. Go sign him to a one-year, $5 million deal next year if you're a team, but don't trade for him.
I agree. So if you had to pick one to trade for, I know we're doing a show around players you shouldn't trade for. Let's say you had to pick one of these guys, okay? Would it be John Ross? I want you to type JR. Or Would you go out and trade for A.J. Green? Type AJ in the comments section. Mitch Trubisky, you're next up here on our players to not trade for. You run our Bears show, Harrison. Why is Mitchell on the list?
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky has had a very complicated career, to say the least. I just don't like the idea, and we could have thrown a couple of quarterbacks on this list, but I picked Trubisky. I don't like the idea of trading for a guy who's been benched, who's on a contract year.
Correct.
Like, what does it really get you, right? Like, you could say, oh, let's trade for him, and maybe he develops into something. Okay, but then you have to pay him.
Exactly.
I don't get that. If I'm a team and I'm intrigued, this offseason, go see what his market is, bring him in as a high-level backup. I got no problem with that, but I don't think trading for him does anything for you. Like, why would you ship the Bears a 4th or a 5th-round pick to come be a backup this year? Then you got to make a decision in free agency. Don't think it's smart. He's regressed since 2018, Mitch. Had a solid season then, but has not been the same since then. It's why Matt Nagy went to Nick Foles. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Now, if he had one more year on his contract, you could talk me into it.
I see some people ask me, do you think this could turn into the next Ryan Tannehill? To me, it's a lot like Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles was bad for a long time, had one kind of okay season. The Jags paid him a lot of money, and then he went back to being Blake Bortles. That's what I think Mitchell Trubisky
I think Trubisky can be like a 10-year backup.
Or like a Mike Glennon.
He's mobile. He's decent. He's fairly accurate if you put him in the right situations, but he's very limited. Bad in pre-snap, doesn't read coverage as well.
Call up Chase Daniel.
He's got limitations. I wouldn't trade for him. I'd sign him in the offseason as a backup, but I'm not trading something for him.
All right, the NFL trade deadline, it's right around the corner. And in fact, November 3rd, 4 p.m. Eastern time. What I want you all to do right now is subscribe to Chat Sports because we're going to be doing a lot of coverage around the trade deadline.
We will be live that day. I can assure you that.
I mean, we're the number one most watched coverage for the NFL draft. We do a lot of live shows, and that's basically what you're watching right now. So go ahead, tune in, hit that subscribe button. We would definitely appreciate it. Let's go to the softest man maybe on this list. I used to call him Kleenex when he used to play for the Bears because he was just super soft.
What is he, half a Kleenex now? Yeah, it's always hurt. He complains about Carson Wentz behind his back. Like, he's just not a guy you want in your locker room.
Cancer.
5 years ago, yeah, because he was a freak on the field and you're willing to deal with some of that stuff. But now he's got a million injuries. I don't like how he went behind Wentz's back to the media. I thought that was a joke. And he can't stay healthy. Still hadn't played a game this year. So I know the Eagles would like to trade him and get out from under that contract and go make a different move to bring in something for the trade deadline. But he's just not the same guy. Last year, when he was healthy, didn't do that much.
I mean, even if you give me 2017 stats where, sure, I mean, it's not worth $19 million.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Plus, everything that he has off the field issues. I mean, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people in Philly. They don't want Alshon Jeffrey.
He's not an AB cancer, but he's also not AB talented. Like he doesn't have that ability. So he makes too much money. He's hurt a lot. He's not the best teammate. Don't trade for him. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. The Eagles would love for someone to trade for him. I just don't think it's a very good idea.
The last name here, another quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, and he obviously is the backup for Phillip Rivers. Going to make $21.38 million this year.
That's way too much money.
Sure, I mean, the Colts, though, they at least had the money to be able to do it. The reason why that nobody should trade for him, he's not worth it.
I threw this on here. I saw a Bleacher Report. Ooh, Brissett could be an intriguing trade piece, but why? Like, he played okay at times last year, but there's a reason they signed Phillip Rivers.
Exactly.
Like, and coming off a bad year. Like,
Brissett's just so limited.
Yeah, he's in that category, really solid backup. Yes. Really good backup, but you don't trade for a solid backup on the last year of their career that's making $20 million. It doesn't make sense. He was up and down last year, was good before the injury, bad after the injury, so maybe somewhere in the middle of that, serviceable type of starter, I suppose, but why would you trade for a fringe starter? Look at the career numbers. He basically has 2 starting seasons under his belt, and this is what we've gotten. Average quarterback play. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Don't trade for Brissett. Again, like all these guys, when they're free agents, go sign them. But don't trade for him. Don't trade an asset for Brissett. He makes too much money, and he's entering free agency next year. He does not need to get traded.
So let us know down in the comments section, y'all. Name a player you want your team to trade for. We gave you 5 players that they shouldn't go out and trade for. But now I want you to name a guy that you want your team to go out and trade for. Let's see some comments. I see a lot of OBJs as always. Julio Jones is always a very common name. For me, I would like to see a team go out and get a player like Anthony Harris from the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Watt would be a fun trade to happen, no doubt about that. Justin Simmons also to the Cowboys. Let us know a player that you would want your favorite team to go out and trade for. So before we let you go, I do want to go through one more time some players to not trade for. And if this is the first time that you've come across a Chat Sports video, make sure that you guys subscribe. We go live every single Monday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Plus, we drop a new video on the channel just about every single 3 hours. So if you're always looking for new NFL content, I promise you, Chat Sports, we're going to have you covered. If you made it this far, you also might as well drop us a like. Again, we would definitely appreciate it.